Welcome to episode one. God, I forgot. What are we? 147 of the
47.
Inside Byte.
Wow.
I'm your host, Tim Schaefer. I'm here, my co-host, Rudy. How you doing this week?
Hey, I'm great. 140. I almost forgot with you for a second there. I'm like, dang, I can't even remember how high we've gotten to now. No, I'm good, man. Everything's cool. Been playing so much Final Fantasy that I love video games. It just almost makes me sick how much I've played it lately. Like last weekend, I want to say, oh man, and the whole day I feel like I woke up and immediately started playing before everyone woke up. Like I'd stop to do things, give lunch, whatever, go play. Probably at least 6 or 7 hours in a day, maybe. I don't remember the last time I've done that. So yeah,
Yeah. I'm first. Let's just start the episode talking about Final Fantasy VII, and this will be our watch play segment, and then go from there.
right.
With Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, though, this seems to be all I ever want to talk about because it's driving me insane of like, why am I obsessing over doing everything? With no other game do I do this.
Same,
But
same
I
here.
feel like I have to. And I maybe it's because I actually is it because we do like doing it? Or do we feel like we have to? Do we feel like we're gonna miss something? I'm trying to actually genuinely figure out why I feel like I have to do everything. Why do you feel like you have to? If you're having this problem,
Yeah.
why do you think this?
So honestly, I think a lot of the open world stuff I just find fun, like it's enjoyable to me, especially doing it while I'm doing something else. So I think that's why I want to do that. But then there's that you're right though. Like you know what? The only thing I'll say is the only thing I haven't done is I don't feel the need to do the hard mode stuff. I feel like I did it already.
Same,
I don't
same.
need to go back, right?
Yeah, I'm with you
That
there.
being said, there are um two or three things that I'm kind of mad at myself because after doing every single thing in the game, I don't feel like I'll be able to do it. Could I do it? Maybe. Could I sit there and research the right way to do it and put in the time? Maybe. But there's a quest towards the very end of the game. It's not a spoiler. It's just a side quest. It's at the Gold Saucer. It's this dude who's like he calls himself the party animal or whatever, right? I don't know if you've seen him yet, but
I don't think so.
he basically says, "Hey, I've set records in all of these different activities at the Gold Saucer, and you need to beat them, right?" So he has like a chocobo race. You have to race him. Okay, challenging. I beat him. The Galactic Survivors one, the spaceship one, pretty hard. Beat it. The G race spike thing, beat it. The battle one, however, is so absolutely ridiculous that I just can't understand. I'm like, this is nuts. There's 5 rounds in it. The first round is like those Gargantor cactus guys. Okay, they're pretty challenging. I beat them. The second round is like 15 tone berries, and they all like no matter what strategy I do, they beat me. I can't. I'll try to get
Okay,
like
so I
Aerith
haven't done
booted
this.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to get like Aerith with her like radiant ward where she can fire quick, build up her ATB meter, get her healing everyone. Right? They throw like these little blasts at you that like paralyze you. Then they come over and stab you, and you're dead.
Yeah.
And I tried like 3 times. I'm like, I cannot beat this. So I feel like I've given up on that. And there's one other thing that it is a spoiler, so I don't want to say it.
Did you
But there's
have problems with Rufus with his dog and all that?
I did a little
Because
bit. I
I
beat him,
did.
but
I died
it was
like
challenging.
maybe 3 times.
So I figured
But
out that I had to like one thing I figured out is when Cloud can throw his beams from his sword.
yeah.
Um, so I figured out that like it was so frustrating the first time I fought him because I would try to hit him and he'd counter every time, right? So what I did was I just
You gotta hit him on the
dodge.
reload, but it's so
Right.
annoying waiting for
It's
the
so annoying.
reload. Yeah.
Well, I just dodge. He'd shoot his bullets, and right when he shoot his bullets from far away, I'd shoot him with the blast, and it would hit him and stun him, and I'd go in. But yeah, that was definitely a
But
pain
the problem
in
with
the ass.
that is even when you hit him on the reload, you're too far away because you're doing the thing and you don't really do
Right.
any on the stagger meter or his
Oh my
health
god, it's
overall.
barely anything.
So
but
you're like chipping
Yeah.
away for
I just
ages.
hold square to fly over to him again. But okay, so I do want to mention this, but I'll be very vague about it. There's one more thing. So if you do all of the regional phenomenon quests, right? Like all the Fort Condor, and then later on the what's the name of that little guy? The Kid G, the little
Yeah.
gremlin
Oh,
guy.
did you do that? Because
I did all
I
those,
finished all that too, and you get the finish the proto relic thing, and then you
right?
go into the other dimension thing and all that.
Okay, so that's
Now,
what I was referring to.
I met him, but I
Me
didn't
too.
fight him.
Okay, so I met him. I went to his like area,
Yeah.
and there's like 4 battles. I tried the first one. I was like, holy crap, this is so ridiculously hard. Did you do any of the battles yet?
Okay. So what you're talking about with that guy is what I was supposed to do is now talk to a maybe it's because I need to talk to the guy in Gold Saucer. But sure, I don't know because I finished all the stuff with the Kid G, right? And
Okay,
then
okay.
go into that, I talk to him, and then I go back out, and then it added a new like quest that I have to go do first before
Okay,
I go back
so
in there. And so,
did you visit an island named after a character?
yeah, no,
Okay,
I know who
okay,
the character is, but
okay,
no, I
okay,
didn't
okay.
visit the island. No.
Okay, so when when you go to the island, there are a series of battles you have to do before you can fight that character, right?
Okay.
And by the way, that character's recommended level of fighting them is like 70 or something crazy like that, right? So
Which I'm
before I fought
definitely
them,
not.
no,
What?
no way. So
What am
I
I?
before I got
50
here,
maybe?
I think I'm like 50, yeah. So before I got here, I was like, oh, I'm doing everything in this game. And then I saw that, I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay, well, maybe I can still beat it with without being the recommended level, right? So then again, we're being vague about that thing, but the other
Yeah.
thing I don't think is a big deal. So on this island, before you can fight that character, you need to fight your summons that you've gotten together. So we're talking about like
Oh no, no,
Titan,
no,
and
no! Because there's
who
certain
was the other
summons
one?
already
Oh
that
my
I
God.
basically had the cheese to even beat.
Yeah, and I did them all on the lower difficulties with the
Yeah,
shrines helping, you know?
yeah.
So the first fight I get into is Titan and Bahamut at the same time. I'm like, what the heck is this? I can't beat this. So I tried like 2 or 3 times. I was like, yep, I guess I'm not doing this quest. It's unfortunate. I wanted to do everything. The only other thing I haven't done yet, which I'm going to do, is the Queen's Blood final boss.
Hmm.
I have not done it yet only because everything you learn in the game, the whole game, I've gotten really good at Queen's Blood. I've built a great deck. This like flips it on its head completely. It's like totally different. So now I need to regroup and do that. So I might try to do that, but I'm gonna wait until I beat the game and then just clean that up and then be done.
I
So
just with the Queen's Blood, I just played the guy who is like the main dude that you keep seeing in the visions or whatever. So I
oh, the
just
one who like
actually battled
created it.
him, and then now I gotta
Gotcha.
actually I guess do the final bit, and I'm done with the person who has the card. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
assuming that's the final one.
Um,
I
the
don't
guy that you're
know.
saying you fought, he was the
Yeah,
ghost guy.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I battled
After him,
him, and then
after him
he
you have
said I
like.
need to get the battle the person with the card.
Do you know how many total people you've beaten? Like when you see your rank, do you know what number you're up to? 20 something?
I'm
It'll say like
30.
28 defeat,
Yeah.
30. So maybe you only have the one. Because after him, I fought one more person and then the last one. So
Okay.
maybe you have 2 more, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't.
Um,
I wish I could go and look right now. I don't remember the number. I don't
but
know. Either way.
what do you what do you think about people who say like I don't, let's say they don't like Queen's Blood. I really like that there's so many quests tied to a lot of these mini games and side stuff. For me, it's like I understand why they did that. You don't have to do this content. It's extra stuff, right? That you can see and experience if you want.
Yeah,
I
I'm
guess it
doing
doesn't
it
bother me
because I
really.
want. That's what I'm saying. Like, I am wanting to do it. I do like doing it. I guess I'm only bothered because it just happened. I got spoiled, and I'm so mad.
Oh,
And
damn.
the biggest spoiler of the biggest wonder, I got spoiled. I'm not gonna say anything, but I
Gotcha.
am pretty pissed. And I'm just like, I knew it was inevitable. I knew I was gonna see it, and
Right.
there's nothing I
Right.
could have done about it. It was so just right there in my face,
That's so annoying.
and I was just like, oh
I
my god.
I have a feeling I know what you're talking about, but I don't want to ask any questions because
Yeah,
I don't
just
want to spoil
don't.
anything for myself. But I will say, for myself, I've had a few moments
I just want to
towards
know
the
what
end of the
happens in
game.
the story as soon as
Right.
possible. But at the same time, I am just enjoying doing the stuff, and And it's like, okay, I can sit there and rush it, but I know myself. Once I beat it, once I roll credits, I am not going to go back. I don't think I've ever done that. Once I rolled
Yeah,
credits on a game
yeah.
and try to go and do the extra stuff after the fact, no. Now, I've went back and played a game again after the fact years later, but in no way am I going to sit there and just keep playing once I roll credits.
Right, right, right.
No way.
I'm with you. I think the only thing I might do after the credits is finish the final Queen's Blood battle. And if it pisses me off, then I'm gonna drop it probably. um, but there have been a few moments towards the end of the game with things that I know about, the original game, comparing it to now, like, oh my god, I wonder, is it gonna go this way? Is it gonna go that way?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I feel like they know that about people, and they're almost trying to like mess with me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, because there'll be times where I'm like, oh, this moment that I liked from the game is, oh, here it is. Oh, I feel like they've switched things up a little bit, not just a different timeline, but I mean, even things that are happening the same way. I feel like they try to mess with you a little bit, So,
well, even
it's been
just the
interesting.
whole dating thing on like I I kept holding off too because
Right.
like I wanted to whoever I had the closest bit with, okay, we go on the date and I wanted it to be natural. It ended up being Tifa, and I was just like, I really wanted it to be Aerith because this is a whole bigger picture to it all of just like I've always preferred Aerith a little more. And I've
Right.
always but I wanted the game to decide and not me, and I didn't want to sit there and do specific quests and not do
Right. You just wanted
specific
to
quests in
organically,
another, and then just so I can get that. I kind of wanted to just like how I played, what would happen, and just leave it as is. I kind of like doing that with any game. It's like when I'm playing Baldur's Gate to a game like a dice roll game with a Disco Elysium, for example. You don't want to sit there and like, oh, well, I made this decision. Let me go back and see the other. I'd rather not even know the other side. I'd rather
actually,
it just be my playthrough. You're muted if you're talking.
Oh. Wait, why am I? It's not unmuted. I mean, it's not muted.
Maybe my headset's dying. I have another one if I need to.
All right.
I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
In a second. Yeah. I don't think it's dying because it would show a different color. Either way.
So it's funny that you mentioned, between Tifa and Aerith. Guess who my date was?
And my headset. It keeps making a noise.
Oh,
maybe it is dying.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry. Right. What were you saying?
No, I was saying that you were saying how,
I was annoyed and
you were annoyed between Tifa and Aerith, right?
The fact that I got Tifa and I was just like, God dang it. I was trying so hard to just get Aerith.
So I remember when I did that part, it told me, something about, whoever you've created bonds with, whatever, they'll be going with you, right? So I'm getting ready to see Tifa or Aerith walk out, and then my guy Barrett walks out. So I had a nice day with Barrett. It was so funny. Barrett's like, I'm almost happy that I got Barrett because it was just that funny. It was like, we're walking and Barrett's like, so I got tickets to the play. I don't know if you're busy, but like maybe you could come with me. Like stop being a baby. You come with me. And Cloud's like, okay. And then they go together. It's so funny. Oh, it was great. So I'm glad they gave you extra options there. So
yeah, which that whole bit, yes, where you actually go and watch the play and I guess the VR play.
It's like a VR thing, yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
I thought it was cool.
It's a throwback at, well, I guess I'd rather not say. I don't know.
Sure.
It's a throwback to a character from Remake. That's cool.
Really fun.
But yeah. Anyway, so I was just annoyed about that, and that also was another reason why I just like didn't want to play, because I was really trying to be like, should I reload? Should I not? Trying to come to accept it, and I finally was just like, look, I think Cloud and Tifa should probably be together anyway, because I think Aerith technically like belongs with Zack and who she probably cares about anyway, and just trying to accept all that. And I was just like, all right, I'll set this and move on. But it's just whatever. But I don't know. I mean, maybe we just need to stop talking about the whole extra stuff, because I keep talking about every time of just like battling of like we caring or not caring. Overall, I would say just do what you want to do. I don't know.
Yeah, of course, of
Like
course.
if
You
you end
don't,
up doing
you
all their
know.
stuff, I guess it's a little annoying in the back of my head just because I just want to know what happens next in the story, so it didn't get spoiled was like the one of the biggest reasons, and I ended up getting spoiled anyway. So
That
now it
sucks.
is what it is. Now I really am just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, so you done with
Whether
it.
I beat it tomorrow or I beat it in 2 months, it just is what it
Yep.
is. And
I've it's just it's strange after playing the game for so long. Like I was saying before we started recording, I think I'm up to like 108 hours. It's been such a normal part of my day, pretty much every day for so long that I feel like it's going to be very weird when I'm all done with it, you know. And funny enough, I'm going to Final Fantasy 15 to play the expansion after this, so it's like funny to just
16,
go.
but
Oh,
yes.
16, God, yeah, 16. So
Well,
yes.
I would love to have the question of okay, you know how you were saying the combat of like you were definitely preferring 16's combat. Now, what do you think? Now that you're so played so many
Um,
hours of
yeah,
remake.
now it's definitely different now. I love Final Fantasy VII's combat. Honestly, I like them both so much. I don't know if I'll give the edge to one over the other
Well,
now. I think
the
they're so
thing I was
different.
wondering is because what you were saying was, well, you wish they had 16 combat in 7 was like a comment. And I was like, I don't know how
Yeah,
you do that because you have all of the different types of moves that you have to
yeah. I don't know if I
do.
feel that way anymore. I think that was just a
Okay.
transitioning from one to the other kind of thing, you know?
Okay.
But do I think that 16's combat is up there too? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think it's very different. I love the way Final Fantasy VII does it. It's so unique and it's such a great system. But
It's
yeah, I
kind
think
of
they're both
weird
really
no
good.
other game has it
I don't
like
think I've
that.
seen another game like that. Yeah, they really found a good hybrid model that
I
works
mean,
so
I
well.
guess Kingdom Hearts is technically this to where like you have the menu and you hit a button to attack. Honestly, yeah, it is Kingdom Hearts because you have the um squares attack, but then you just have X to select the menu and you're going through the menus as you're attacking. Same
Right.
way. So actually, it's an evolution of Kingdom Hearts battle system if you really think about it. That's kind of weird. That's funny.
Yep. Yep. Well, yeah, man, I've really enjoyed my time with this game. I didn't know if I was gonna get sucked into it like this at first for some strange reason. But I'm glad I did, and I thought it was an excellent game. I have my problems with this game, just like I do with Final Fantasy 16. There's a few things that I maybe don't love so much
what?
about
Well,
it.
what?
So
What's
I
something?
there are a few a few difficulty spikes that don't make sense to me that kind of bug me, whether they be missions at the end, like I'm referring to now, or stupid things in the middle of the game. Like, do you remember the area where you have to throw the boxes with Kate Sith? To me, that was just like a random
Yeah,
dumb thing
that's
that
kind of dumb.
like
I
just like
don't like
random.
those things. Yeah,
Those are little nitpicks, but I
yeah.
do genuinely have a problem with the way that um some of the stuff towards the end of the game just doesn't continue the path of everything else. Like I've learned all the rules of this game, and now you completely change the rules. It doesn't even make sense anymore. Or
Like what?
like the Queen's Blood. I mean, you haven't
Oh,
done it yet. When you go to fight the
yeah.
last boss, you're gonna see that if you've been a player who's been learning the game as you go and you've been building your deck, and whatever, it all goes out the window. And I'm not the only one. I like looked around. Am I crazy? Everyone's like, nope. I had to scrap my deck completely. No, I had to just play. Basically, you're like playing to the battle. Like you're not using this custom deck that Tim made and he worked on and he built
Yeah.
and I have my deck and we both beat the boss. Nope. It's like you need this specific. It's like a meta, you know.
Okay. Okay.
But again, these complaints are really not huge things, right? I'm just trying to find things that I don't like about it. But overall, I really did like the game a lot. I thought it was fantastic. That was so much fun, you know. And the combat is so fun and so good. And I think I would really like the game way less if they made it where you didn't all level up together. You know, even if you don't have the party with you, that would really bug me. I think. You know how like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whoever has
Yeah.
material that they're holding,
Yes.
they're constantly leveling up. I think that's a really smart move
Hmm.
because when I do have to use Yuffie or Red 13 or whatever, if I don't use them normally, I'd be so pissed if I had to go
Yeah.
grind it out, you know? Because
Yeah.
I
I
always
mean,
use
the
Barrett,
original
Aerith, and
game
Cloud.
or any. I mean, during that time with any JRPG, you
Yeah,
definitely like
you had to.
weren't doing the EXP sharing, and I remember people
Such
complaining
a
if there
pain in the
was
ass.
like I don't know. I'm like a Pokemon game, for example. I remember being like, "Oh, EXP share. If you use it, you're a baby," because you should definitely like train them without that on. And nowadays, like, no, I even if I didn't like it at the time, if a game did that because I felt like it made it easier or something, at this point, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, same.
It's a too big of a like I'm not I don't want to go and spend hours just leveling up a character. I want to actually see new things and progress through the game and all that.
Uh-huh.
I
Yep.
don't want to sit
Yep.
there and run around in circles and grind. Like, I don't know. Kind of over that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. But overall, I
Uh
really do love the game, man. I think it's really good. So
but yeah, I must say the game is incredibly impressive on if you were to compare this game to just any other game. I don't know. Like if I'm looking at the Steam library, right? The first thing I've seen like Dead Island or I don't know, Deathloop or something. All these games, like even if they do what they do incredibly well, they
uh-huh.
do like one or two things incredibly well. This game is so I don't understand how they finished it in the time frame that they did because remake came out in 2020.
2020, yep.
Even I mean, unless they had somehow 50% of it done alongside the development of that game, which wouldn't make any sense because then, well, then how did they make that game also so good? I don't know. But
Right.
uh, 3 or 4 years, and you're talking like just every environment or every like location you go to or even just the city within that environment and
Right.
like all the different characters and all
A
the
lot.
different like things going. I don't know how they created all of this to this quality.
I don't know how they were able to go from like a like a hub area game to an open world game and make. I mean, granted, it was 4 years, right? They had some time to work on it, but they did a crazy job for those 4 years. And also, I can't believe how much better I think Rebirth is than Remake. And I loved
Yeah,
Remake,
yeah,
but I think they
yeah,
just took it to if Remake was a 9 out of 10, this is like a freaking 11 out of 10. Like, it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and I can't wait to see what. Now again, I'm almost at the end of the game. It's been a long time since I played the original. I still remember the story, but I'm wondering what's going to really be in the next one because I feel like we're so close to a lot of the end of events, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
It's been
I
a while.
am
I don't remember.
very no. There's a lot that takes there's a lot that takes place
Like this three or something.
after
I can't remember.
well this three
This
it's
three is
not
just
like
the when you
that.
get
This
there, right?
three
Okay.
is just
It's just the
basically
final.
when you go to the final. Hey, but you have the whole map you can now access, and it takes
Yes,
a whole
yes, yes.
disc because now anything is accessible and all the data that it
Right, right,
takes to
right.
make that whole map accessible
Gotcha.
in
I
one
remember
sweep
that.
to where prior to that you were always blocked off by something you could
Right,
only
right,
see
right.
so much and then the third disc was really just like oh it's the end of the game but at the same time you can go to any previous location so no this is about where this ends it really is 2/3 of the way through and we have a whole
Okay.
nother third it really is 1 2 3 and split into three parts pretty evenly so I'm more interested too. Not just that is just you kind of can't. You there's no other game like this prior, and it's not like anyone else can make this type of game. As look, stick with me. I know it sounds weird, but it's like Cuphead. When they made
Sure.
Cuphead, no one else can make Cuphead.
Right,
Like
right.
no matter how hard they try, it's gonna be near impossible. It's just too
It'll just be
unique
compared to it. Yeah.
and too it'd be too hard to replicate and it's not like you can't replicate what this game is doing it's too I don't know like the Cosmo Canyon area to like um you know Rocket Town section which we haven't even seen yet by the way
Right.
with all the Sid stuff and the rocket ship and going to space and all that bit um I there's so many iconic locations like I don't know I can't think of another game to where like you're going to that separate and different of locations all inside of one game plus all
Only one
of
I can think
the
of is Zelda,
insane
probably. Zelda has a lot of variety too, with like that.
That's a good point.
But
Yeah,
besides
yeah.
that, you're so right. So many games, everything looks the same. There's not too much.
There's an
Like, okay,
overall theme to any game.
right, right.
Zelda's a very good,
Zelda's the only one I
very
can think
good.
of
Yeah, yeah,
that they really have very.
yeah.
Remember we talked about this? How like I could just look at your TV while you're playing, and I could be like, oh, he's in blank,
Zora's
right?
Domain,
Or I could play
the
if
Death
you look
Mountain
at
section,
right,
all
right. If
that.
you look at my
Yeah.
screen when I'm playing, and I loved Horizon Forbidden West. If you look at my screen, you have no. There's no name you're gonna tell me. Oh, he's in blank, or he's at this. There's no way you can know, and this goes true for a lot
Yeah,
of good
iconic
games.
locations.
They just don't do it as well.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, I love Cyberpunk. I
It's
couldn't
still
tell
the
you
same.
where you are.
Yeah. Now,
The
I
Witcher-
mean, you have the outside of the city area. What, you got two
Of course,
locations, I guess? But
yeah,
this is
but the point that you're
15.
making, the point that you're making is well taken. Like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Zelda are two games where I'm like, okay, it's very, very distinct. I know when I'm in Midgar is the first game, but let's just say anyway, Midgar, Gungaga, or Cosmo Canyon, or they all look so different.
Lon Lon Ranch to
they all behave so differently.
Yeah,
the Zora's Domain and the Goron Mountain, and I mean, come on,
Yeah.
those are nowhere near the same, you know. So
yeah.
now that you're mentioning it,
It's like you got like a huge
Maybe-
swamp area. You got like a huge like Dark Souls kind of does that.
I was just about to
Okay.
say the same thing. That's the
But-
only other
but-
franchise I can
but
think of.
a little,
Maybe
not
that
a
has
lot.
something similar.
It's like like okay, maybe 4 locations, but it still all kind of looks and feels the same. But yeah, like, okay, you're in a poison swamp area, or now you're in a castle, or now you're but
Right.
like overall the game still, I don't know, it's still not that unique. And
Right, but I'd say
like-
it's the next closest probably
Yeah.
that I can think of. You know,
So I'm guessing. I mean, it really is just this game. I've never seen the amount of diversity. Nothing comes close. Number 2 would be certain Zelda games, and then 3, I guess, is like the Souls games get pretty good
Right.
about that.
right? Yep, agreed.
Yeah, and then that's kind of how a thing, and I can't really think of anything beyond that to where you're having such different unique experiences and feeling like
Sure.
you're on this epic journey, seeing crazy different things taking place before you, and not just the locations. Like when you come across such a very different location, the people and the society works different, like from
Right.
location to location. Maybe from their accent to like how they look to like what
That's
they
true.
wear.
That's true.
You know
Yeah,
what
good
I mean?
point.
And Zelda does the same thing. You know what I mean? Like when you go to different locations, it feels like you're almost in a whole nother country.
Right, right. No, they definitely nailed that. So
Yeah. Anyway, so
Yeah, man.
that's what I find most impressed about the game and what I like about it so much. And even that's probably why I liked it so much, growing up. And so anyway, all right.
Yeah, agreed.
That's
All right,
that.
well, now you guys
It's
know how we
hard
feel
for me
about
to like,
Controversy.
even once I beat it, throw down like a score on it, because it's like I don't really know if any game even does what this does, and it's really hard to compare it, other than just it really is top tier quality all the way through. The only complaint people could throw at it is just like, oh, there's so many various, like there's too many extra things, but you don't have to do it. And I don't want to ding it against the game by giving you options. That sounds too dumb in my head. I don't think
I
I
totally
should do
agree.
that.
You have to look at it in that way to understand that. Like that's what I feel like some people are missing. Okay, if I get annoyed that I'm having to do all this stuff, is that really a fault of the game, or is that me just
Why am
annoyed I
I
have to do this
rushing
stuff,
it?
but
We're
I'm not-
rushing it because we're doing a podcast and we want to talk on it, or
Sure.
we're in the midst of the gaming community and all that. But let's say we weren't a part of all this and you just had this game. You could, if it took me a year to beat, why is that wrong?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with
don't
you.
know. I wouldn't ding it. I would just like, it may not like flow within you're constantly shuffling, playing the latest, biggest game. Like maybe it will cause a hurdle because it's such a massive game, but that shouldn't be to its fault. Shouldn't be. It should have been 30 hours so I can move on to the next game. That just sounds dumb
Yep.
in my
Yep. I
head.
agree.
Yeah. All right.
Great game.
Let's move on.
All right, let's go.
Addressing the Steam library, where I'm now in the D's. You're still in the C's.
Oh, are we still gonna do it? I thought we switched those
okay.
two.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's switch those two just because I gotta go by
All right.
9:30.
News. So. Let's get into it. You can take this first one here. Did you know what's all going on here? By the way?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll mention it briefly. So the story is PSN account required for Ghost of Tsushima's multiplayer mode on PC, but not single player story. So before I get into this, yes, unless you're living under a rock, it's been a whole thing that now it's a requirement for Helldivers 2 is it just to connect the PSN account, right? If I have that correct?
Yeah.
You have to connect the PSN account. A lot of people are not happy about this because that wasn't the requirement at first. Now, I can understand someone saying, hey, that wasn't what was required at first. I don't have PSN. I know it's not in every country. Fine. I can also understand people saying, okay, well, I'll just do it. Whatever. It's no big deal. But I don't think it's fair to be like, well, just do it. Who cares? Whatever. Because this is how you get people to change their not developers, I should say the people above them, like the publishers, to change their mind on things. You have to, make a stand, which it doesn't hurt anyone for them to do that and be like, I don't like this. I don't like that. I think it's a fair thing. I don't have any problem with it, really. For me personally, I don't care about connecting my PSN account. It is what it is.
I actually would want to connect my PSN account.
I'd want to do it too. Yeah.
But that's besides the point. That's a personal just like reason. But I could if no one ever plays on PlayStation, and if I was that person, I would not want to make a PlayStation account just to play.
Yeah.
It's only because I'm in the ecosystem do I want to.
Right. It's like when these other companies make you do it, like Ubisoft wants you to make this and that. It's annoying. Now, someone presented something to me that I thought was a good point as to why they don't want this. They're saying, like, okay, right now it's this. Ghost of Tsushima has their thing, fine. And they're saying that eventually they think that they're going to want PC players to pay for PS Plus when PlayStation really digs into this. Like,
don't think that's going to
happen. I don't know if that'll happen, but I also could see a future where they say, like, all of our PlayStation games
I'm sure they
here,
want that to happen.
You got to link it, right? And you need PS Plus to play it. I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen, but I understand where their head's at,
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was interesting how people mobilized. They started leaving these reviews and complaints, and all of a sudden they switched gears. I'm like, okay, well, I guess it works what you guys wanted to do. So, all right. So all of that being said, it's being required for Ghost of Tsushima's multiplayer mode on PC, but not single player, which I kind of get a little more, I think. But okay, Ghost of Tsushima, yeah, the hit 2020 PlayStation exclusive Samurai game rides onto PC on May 16th, and ahead of the game's launch there, developer Sucker Punch Productions has revealed players will not need a PlayStation Network account to play through the game's single-player story mode, as reported by Video Games Chronicle. However, a PSN account will be required to play through Ghost of Tsushima's, multiplayer Legends mode, or if you want to use a new PlayStation PC overlay to acquire trophies and more. This follows news from last week where PlayStation announced and later walked back that Helldivers 2 players will be soon required to link a PSN account to their Steam account, leading to widespread anger in the game's community.
Oh, now, if you look, it's mostly negative because of this.
It dropped down a lot,
which is gonna affect sales. Like, new people are gonna hop in constantly, pull up the Steam page, and not buy it because of that. They're losing millions of sales.
Now, I wonder if some people will take their review back now that they've switched gears. Maybe some won't.
That's the problem is, like, if you mess up, you have to hope that people go back there and change it. People are lazy, man. Even if they don't even mean to anymore.
You're right.
Is everyone going to go back in there and do it? They're just going to forget and move on. And now you have this stain on your game all because you made a move like this. It actually hurts them pretty badly.
Yeah, and I feel bad for the developers because it sounds like the developers didn't want this. They were being vocal online, So
anyway.
All right, if you're unfamiliar with Ghost of Tsushima Legends, it's a standalone multiplayer experience that allows you and up to 3 other players to fight enemies in special missions, defeat waves of foes, and complete raids. A PSN account will be required to play Legends, but if you want to play through the game's story and the Iki Island expansion, you won't need one. Whatever. I think it's funny how they came out and said this. Now they're like, oh crap, let's be forthcoming with this now before the game comes out. Part of me does wish I had I didn't have all these games to play right now because I'd go back and play this on PC, but it's just there's no
like I
chance.
said,
I have
I'm
way
kind of
too much to
itching,
play.
but I shouldn't. I shouldn't. I'm not
I
going
just have
to, but
way too much to play right now. I mean,
it's a great game. I encourage anybody.
It
If
is
you don't
really
have a
good.
PlayStation, you're on PC, pick this up. It's phenomenal.
It is an awesome game.
Yeah,
The open world is really well done. So,
I wanted to comment on one more thing that I saw a lot of people say, and
sure.
maybe I'm being Xbox biased, so I want to run it by you. So people are saying, well, what about all of these PC games where you have to sign into a Microsoft account?
Right.
I actually don't think it's the same thing. Think about
Go
it.
ahead,
Microsoft
explain.
is Windows. Like,
Yeah,
you're on a Windows machine.
That's what my thought was before you said it.
You have to have a Microsoft account to even use Windows at that point. When you set up Windows 11 especially,
right,
you can't continue without one.
A Microsoft account has existed. It predates the Xbox.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not the same.
You're not
PSN
going into an external login service.
Right.
You're using the login service that you need to run your computer to begin with. It's the same account. So I don't think it's the same thing. It would be because you're in that ecosystem if you're using Windows. It would only make sense if you left the ecosystem. So I don't think it's the same thing. I don't think you can compare.
I totally agree.
That's like I don't know if Sega, Nintendo. I don't know that Nintendo would never put their games on PC anyway. But I'm just trying to think of some. That's why we have the issue with the Ubisoft stuff, right? Or we have the issue with the EA of having another account, or Rockstar with you want to play Red Dead, now you have to have the Rockstar launcher and technically have an account through that, whatever, right? That stuff's annoying, but if you're using the same account you use for your computer, you kind of have to have that. So even sure, I'd rather I guess technically not log into an account, but I don't know, you kind of already logged into it anyway, right? You're just kind of more just saying, hey, I'm gonna use this account whenever you kind of start playing. I don't right? I'm trying to think of Doom or something. It'll come up and it'll be like, hey, connect to your Microsoft account, and you kind of just hit okay. And because you're already signed in on your computer and you don't really do too much. Right. But anyway, so it has nothing to do with the Xbox gaming hardware platform thing. I think you're just using the account because you're just on Windows to begin with. I think it's very different. But I did see that, and I'm like, okay, I see what you're saying there, but I don't even think it's slightly equivalent.
I agree. I don't think it's really anyone can argue against that. They can be mad about it, but it's just the truth. So
yeah.
All right.
Which I guess technically it's 2 layers because you have your Steam account, then you have to log into your Microsoft account, which I guess that's. But anyway. Speaking of Ubisoft here, Ubisoft's free-to-play FPS XDefiant finally gets release date, and it's this month.
Yes.
Now, first of all, I hope actually that you don't have to have a Ubisoft account to play this, because that right there is already going to defeat millions of people around the globe. if that's a must here. So it makes me wonder. But anyway, XDefiant, the free-to-play first-person shooter starring factions across Ubisoft's catalog of franchises, finally has a release date, and it's out very soon. Ubisoft announced today that XDefiant drops onto PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC via Ubisoft Connect. Does that mean not on Steam? Let's load Steam up right now, because this is gonna be so fucking dead in the water if it's not even.
If it's only on Ubisoft Connect.
Yeah. You could force it all you want, but you're just not gonna get you're gonna get a tenth of your.
It's not gonna work out great.
Ubisoft. It's not on Steam.
Oh boy.
It would at least be a store page for it. If it was. It's not.
I don't see anything.
Not good. This is dead because it comes out May 21st. It would definitely be a Steam page at this point. Especially. That's awful. Okay. Anyway, This is the day, this is the day the XDefiant preseason will begin. So as of now, the preseason's starting. If you're like in the alpha or beta, whatever. Um, the release date reveal follows various betas and tests for the game, which at one point resulted in the game getting indefinitely delayed last year. And they just released this saying, "Thank you to everyone who participated in the server test session. It was exciting to see all the love for the game and the great feedback that was shared. Coming out of the test, we are excited to say that we will launch our preseason on May 21st on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Preseason will last 6 weeks before going into our seasonal cadence." Okay. I see what's going on. So they haven't launched a preseason yet. They're launching 21st. Everyone jump
Gotcha.
on. And then 6 weeks later, then it's official, which, what's the point in that? Just start it. As for that seasonal cadence, Ubisoft has already outlined the first 4 seasons, which together will encompass the game's year 1 roadmap, which you can check out in an image they shared here. But as for what to expect, here's content. So the factions are Echelon, which is from Splinter Cell, Phantoms, which is from Ghost Recon Phantoms, Cleaners, which is from The Division.
Wait, what the hell is Ghost Recon Phantoms? What is that?
I think
Is that a
they
DLC or something?
started in like, well, it's not a game called Ghost Recon Phantoms. What it
Oh,
is what they call people in
oh,
Ghost
oh, oh.
Recon.
I was about to say because I was like, I've never heard of that game.
And I think
Ghost
that
Recon
started back
Phantoms.
in like Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, like
Oh,
Brawl, I think is when
wait,
that started.
there is one. It was a
Oh,
multiplayer third person
never
released
mind.
in 2014, free to play.
My bad. Yeah,
Interesting.
I did not know this existed.
I didn't know that either.
I
Okay,
guess it's not very good because
the
if
more
it
you know.
lasted that long, yeah, 2014.
It says
Dear God,
Singapore's free to play tactical multiplayer shooter. Interesting.
weird.
Okay, anyway, proceed.
Okay, hold on. I want to go to the Steam page on this game. I just want to see what their reviews are. Come on, load. No, I want this. I don't want this big splash bullcrap. Okay, never mind. It's not on Steam. Of course it's not. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. So Ghost Recon Fandoms, I'm seeing this page
I
saying
think
to
it's a
enter my
mobile.
birthday.
Is
And
it a
then once
mobile
I enter
game?
my birthday and go to view page, you're not permitted to view these materials at this time. What the hell's going on? I don't know. Whatever.
Okay,
Anyway,
whatever.
maybe it's not currently running or something. Cleaners from The
No idea.
Division. Libertad from Far Cry 6. DedSec from Watch Dogs. And then the maps are Arena, Etika Heights, Dumbo, Enchelon HQ, Emporium, Liberty, Mayday, Meltdown, Midway, Knupplepex, Fabluto, Showdown, Times Square, Zoo mode, and the modes are going to be Domination, Hotshot, Occupy, Escort, and Zone Control. Ubisoft says a new ranked mode practice playlist will be live in the preseason 2, giving players a practice at the go at the game's upcoming ranked mode, where players battle it out in 4v4 competitive matches. This playlist will include 4v4 versions of Domination, Occupy, Escort, and Zone Control. So, one, it not being on Steam and just being a Ubisoft thing, it's dead on PC. This could still be a thing on console or something like that. We'll see. I do think it's a little interesting, the fact of like Splinter Cell mixing with the Division, mixing with Far Cry, whatever, all these different factions of all these different games. It's kind of neat, but that's kind of where it starts and ends for me on me being interested in this game. I doubt I'm gonna play it. If I do, it's free to play. I'll play it for a second and see what I think, and I'll try to be open
Sure.
minded best I can and all that. But I don't know. I'm never really. I mean, any free to play shooter coming out nowadays, I'm not hardly jumping on. It's only because I'm just, I don't know. It's Ubisoft and its big IPs coming together has me a little curious of like, well, I don't know. I kind of want to try it out, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah,
If I
yeah,
do, it's probably going to be on console because the last thing I'm going to do is sit there and download the stupid Ubisoft launcher thing.
yeah. I'm not trying to download that thing, so we'll see. All right.
Okay.
Batman Arkham Shadow announced for Meta Quest 3 this year. Today, Oculus Studios announced another VR title set in the Batman Arkham universe titled Batman Arkham Shadow. The Rocksteady Studios, the developer of Asylum, City, and Night, was behind Batman Arkham VR. The developer that most recently released Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League does not appear to be involved with Batman Arkham Shadow. Instead, Camouflage, the studio behind Republic and Iron Man VR, is in charge of Batman Arkham Shadow. Details are scarce, but Camouflage founder and studio head Ryan Payton penned a letter on behalf of the team, which is posted on the studio's website. From the start, Batman Arkham Shadow is being crafted to be the ultimate VR game and take full advantage of the Meta Quest 3, the letter said. Leaning into our 8 years of dedicated VR game development, history has enabled us to not only create a distinctly Arkham-feeling game, but done in a way that leverages the immersive magic only VR can provide. Batman Arkham Shadow is the largest Camouflage development project to date and marks our second release as a first-party member of Oculus Studios, following 2022's critically acclaimed release of Marvel's Iron Man VR for Quest 2. The letter later said, when combined with key art, the teaser trailer seems to hint at the Ratcatcher being the main villain in this title. I don't remember who the Ratcatcher is. I'll have to look that up.
Me either.
Check out the very brief teaser video below. We can expect a full reveal at Summer Games Fest 2024's live stream set for June 7th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Batman Arkham Shadow is coming exclusively to MetaQuest 3 later this year.
So it
Okay,
says
interesting.
exclusive MetaQuest 3, but it makes me wonder, does that not mean like 2? Or does it run better on 3? Is it locked to 3? I can't seem to find an
I don't
answer
know.
to that. I tried searching and I couldn't. Because I have Quest 2. I technically also could just hook it to my PC if I want like more powerful game. So it also makes me wonder, okay, well, if it doesn't support Quest 3, could I just play it through my PC and get the power that way? I don't know how all that works. Also, I'm not like, I don't know. Again, I'm trying to get into VR best I
Sure.
can. I'm still not there, or not really. Like I'm kind of, I don't think it's just like a fad because it's been around so long, but there still has yet to like people aren't going to be like, oh, I don't need to get a console or get a gaming PC anymore. I'm just going to go play in VR. That's like, I don't know. It never even reaches the heights of like a console or gaming on PC. It's like this little side, maybe mess around with thing. Even in the biggest of spaces where they're like really into VR. I mean, I I I don't know if it's like ever gonna like take off or be a thing. I'm very curious on that front. You feel inevitably at some point 20 years later, we always have this vision in our head that we're all just gonna like be old and throwing on a headset and just being lost into a world. It makes me wonder, like, is that actually gonna be a reality? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not. It hasn't grabbed me to the point where I'm like, oh, I need to get into this. It's just something that's happening, and I don't really have that much interest in it. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know what they can do to grab me, but it's just so far. I'm like, Would it be cool if I had it? If someone gave me a expensive VR set for free, would I take it? Yeah, of course. But it's like, I don't know, man. Just
Yeah,
not into it.
even this, like, let's say this game is great, right? It still feels like an experience of like a few hours. I mean, this isn't gonna be like the next like big Batman game, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's always like it's never to that heights, and I think that's the problem.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
do you even want to be in VR for
For
40
that long.
hours? I don't know. I don't I don't want to, but if they can somehow make it nice enough and comfortable enough and enjoyable enough to like where that could be the case, it makes me wonder if that will ever be the case. What I think is going to happen is not like VR being the thing. I think it's going to be more like AR being the thing, meaning like you throw on some glasses and it adds like you're still seeing the world around you as you're walking through the streets or something, but it just adds like a digital layer on top of everything to where like,
Right.
oh, there's not technically a screen here, but there is because I'm wearing these glasses or whatever the case may be. And you're able to like do whatever you would do on your phone, but you can somehow just look at stuff for a while, lock it in play, whatever. I don't know. Some neat sort of, maybe you have something in like your hand to sort of control what you see with your glasses on your something. That I'm sure they'll come up with some sort of way where that be the case, but you're still like interacting in the world. Where you're taking the outside world away from you altogether and getting sucked into that thing. I don't know if that will ever be
I know.
the ultimate, like, that's where gaming's gonna eventually lead. I don't know if that will actually happen.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that way. I feel like I need to be convinced. I'm not. I'm not thinking that that's where we're going to be. I think we're going to be here in 10 years and still we're going to be playing with a controller and things are just going to look better and run better and work better. I don't know. Could be
Yeah.
wrong, but we'll see.
Okay. Xbox Game
All right.
Showcase announced for June, followed by a secret direct for a beloved franchise. Xbox will live stream an Xbox Game Showcase this summer, similar to last year's Starfield Direct. The showcase will be followed by a special redacted direct that will deep dive into a beloved franchise. As for when, the Xbox Game Showcase will begin at 10 a.m. specific 1 p.m. Eastern on June 9th, with the redacted showcase streaming immediately after. Like our double feature last year with Starfield Direct, immediately following the showcase, we'll be airing a special deep dive into the next installment of beloved franchise. We can't say much, so for now, we'll call it the Xbox Showcase, followed by redacted Direct. Will also be our first showcase featuring games from our portfolio of studios across Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, and Xbox Game Studio, in addition to titles from our third-party partners. And speaking of Activision Blizzard, I'm guessing the redacted showcase is about the next Call of Duty based on the associated image that you can see below. So it does kind of look like a Call of Duty logo. Do you think that's what it is? Do you think it's going to be
I
like
mean,
the next Call of Duty and that be what they showcase after the showcase as like the direct and going on to the next Call of Duty?
God,
Or do you think, because it's a beloved franchise, what else could that be?
yeah, I don't know. I'd be pretty disappointed if that's what it was, to be honest. But
I don't want it to be that, of course. I'm kind of
you
over
could be
Call of
right,
Duty.
though. Yeah, very
But
much could
I
be
just
that.
don't know. The way they do like the silhouettes and like the graphic like that, it seems like, but it's a wolf. So unless they're going into some like, I don't know, there's a lone wolf elite military squad that I don't know of or something, and
Right.
maybe that's the logo for them. I have no clue, but I just don't know what else that would be.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good guess, honestly. But the whole beloved franchise thing makes me think there's not that many options it could be, but I don't know.
Yeah, what
What else
would
could it
it
be?
be? I mean, it's not
Is
like
Fable a
Fallout or
beloved
something.
franchise?
No, and it has nothing to do with that. That logo would definitely not be
It wouldn't
Fable.
be, yeah.
um, I mean, it's like almost like a Timberwolf thing going on. It's like wolf faces the left and right too. It's not just that centerpiece. It seems very military like.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like I've seen that, but where have I seen that symbol? I don't know.
And the way they cut it too, you can kind of see the tops and bottoms of some of the letters just to tease
Let me
us
see.
enough.
Let's say wolf symbol video game. See what pops up. No, it looks a little different.
I
Never
mean,
mind.
nobody has yet to guess it either because I tried looking online just to see if anybody like, oh, it's this. And nobody's really matched it. So
Yeah,
I think it's like a new emblem altogether.
it must be because I don't recognize that.
But so you see the background stuff too of like almost like the
Uh huh.
lines of code or something. Like it
Yeah,
makes me
something
think
going
like
on
some
back
like
there.
high tech like.
Interesting. All right. Well, guess we'll
I
have to
don't
see
know.
what that is.
Anyway, I'm curious. I hope it's not Call of Duty. Now, um, I do think in this showcase, because they are saying they're going to be showcasing Activision Blizzard stuff, okay, during the showcase. It's they have yet to drop Call of Duty on Game Pass. Like they haven't done that drop of like, oh, here's all the previous Call of Duties or something like that. I think that's gonna happen. So they're probably gonna do that drop. Um, uh, of like the previous Call of Duties being up at Game Pass. I'm sure that's going to be a thing. And they may, just because Modern Warfare 3 literally came out almost a year ago at this point, because well, when November hits, it'll be a year, October, some other things. So we still have like, it's like more like 8 months old or whatever like that, which is kind of like okay, it would be up in Game Pass anyway. So I actually see Modern Warfare 3 popping up on Game Pass when this all happens, plus previous Call of Duties. And I think that it is going to drive a lot of audience over like actually millions of new subscribers onto their platform, which is going to be a big boom for Game Pass. I see that happening. But it still makes, what other Activision Blizzard, like if it's Blizzard, that's not Call of Duty, and they're specifying Blizzard. So what I hope, and I'm not a World of War, I played World of Warcraft, I tried like 3 or 4 different times, you know what I mean, and just like, it's not for me. But I think it'd be incredibly smart to drop that on console.
Right.
Like after all this time, like they just like poured it over to console. And I think like, I don't know why a console couldn't handle that game. I mean, I understand its gigantic file size or whatever, but actually, I mean, how big? I mean, it like World of Warcraft PC file size.
How big is it?
Okay, yeah, 70 gigs. So,
Okay.
I see that happening. I kind of want to see that happen, even if it's not for me whatsoever. I just think that'd be really cool to have like a huge MMO on console. Because outside of
Yeah.
Final Fantasy doing that, there's literally no other instance of that, and so
Yeah.
that'd be neat to see. Whatever, but yeah, at least we have this to look forward to when it comes to a showcase, because apparently nobody else wants to do one in like E3 season anymore. So there's that. I guess Nintendo, like we'll have
Yeah,
our
that's true.
Nintendo, we'll have our Xbox. I guess it'll still just be like Sony not playing part, and no E3 anymore. But I guess we'll get these two showcases still.
Yeah, at
Let's
least we'll have
see.
something.
Yeah.
Better
Okay.
than nothing. Alrighty. Next up, Square Enix has seemingly canceled some games in an effort to be quote unquote more selective and focused. Square Enix, the company behind last year's Final Fantasy 16 and this year's Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, has seemingly canceled some in development games, taking on some big losses as a result. As for why, the company is aiming to be more selective about its projects moving forward. This news comes from a release related to Square Enix Holdings, which explained the company is incurring losses of 22.1 billion yen, or roughly 140 million, on its financial books for the fiscal year that ended in March. As the meeting convened on March 27th, 2024, the board of directors of Square Enix Holdings voted, in light of the myriad changes underway and the environment surrounding its group, to revise the group's approach to the development of high-definition games. I haven't heard someone call a game a
Yeah.
high-definition game in a long time, with the intention of being more selective and focused in the allocation of development resources. The release reads, as a result of close examination, the company expects to recognize approximately 22.1 billion yen in content abandonment losses on its books for the fiscal year ended March 2024. While potentially canceled games might sound doom and gloom, it sounds more like Square Enix is sharpening its developmental focus to ensure that the games it releases are hits, or at the very least financially successful for the company. Hey, Square Enix, you know what would help? If you put your games on all platforms. I'm just saying. That might make you a little more money.
Yeah. Stop with this exclusive stuff.
You put Final Fantasy 7 on PS5 for how long? Then you brought it to PC way later, and you haven't even brought it to Xbox. You have Rebirth only on PS5. You have what was the God? Why am I slipping? Oh, Final Fantasy 16, right?
That
Like just
Valcom Elysium or something. I don't know, I forget the name of it. That was just PS5 only.
it's just math, right? Like just the only way, in my opinion,
Well,
that it's better.
we thought they were doing exclusive because they're taking a big back from Sony to make it exclusive, right? That's kind of the whole point. But clearly, it didn't work out for them, because the fact that they were even under to begin with, I'd understand if it was like, oh, we didn't gain that much this year, but they actually
Right, but they're
lost.
like under.
Yes.
And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth were going to be made regardless of PlayStation
And
exclusivity,
they're
right?
great games. Like
They're really good games that people like and will probably would have sold even better. I don't know. It's just I feel that by putting it on PlayStation only, of course, obviously you're gonna have less sales, right? But then also, I feel like there's certain people who think of it like, well, if they're doing an exclusive thing, I'm not even getting it there. Like I feel like some people have that attitude. Maybe I feel like it leaves
they're
a
a
bad taste in
very
your mouth.
Japanese centric company. They are, especially now more than ever, because they finally like they don't do the Tomb Raider stuff anymore. They've like sold that from them. They did all this and they just focused on Japanese stuff, right? Most
Right.
of their stuff now is purely in that from that region. Now, of course, over the years, we've grown more warm to Japanese style games, but the core and the most audience they have is still in Japan. Now, you have to keep this in mind. Again, most Japanese people have moved on from big ass consoles. They don't do that anymore. It's like mobile, it's
Yeah.
Switch, it's whatever, right? So I'm sure the reason these games are selling low, we're probably buying Final Fantasy more over here than they are there.
Yeah,
I
you might be right
guarantee
about
you
that.
that. Like and I think a big part of that is like they sell a ton of like Switch stuff and Nintendo is huge there. It's because it's handheld. Like and I just the PS5 is huge. And I don't I never got it. I don't care how small of a place I have. You're gonna have a table. Just set the console on the table. What's the big
Of
deal?
course.
I don't get it, but whatever. I'm not Japanese. I guess I'll never get it. But they PS5s don't sell that great over there. Like it's not like a thing like popping off the shelf.
Right.
Um I wonder if there's got to be Japanese specific numbers. So let's like PS5 console sales total Japan. The- So, yeah, dude. The
How is it?
PlayStation 5 sold about 4.47 million units in Japan as of February 2024.
Dang.
Not even 5 million units. And in
Wow.
total, they're at like 60 million, I want to say. So that's pretty small percentage. So why is a Japanese centric company releasing on a platform with only 4 million people in their country even having
Oh boy.
and expecting their games to sell?
It makes no sense. It's almost like some of these oh my god, what are they called? Like the people who run the board members and stuff, the investors, like it's almost like they don't know what the hell they're doing sometimes at all.
Now, I didn't
So,
know it was this low. Like it hasn't even hit 5 million in Japan yet. And the PS4 only sold 10 million units in its lifetime in Japan. Like they really don't like okay, watch. When I put in Switch here, we'll see the difference. All right, guess.
so Switch in we're talking about in
In
Japan.
Japan exclusively, nowhere else. Cuz so
Um
PlayStation 5 was at 4 million. The PS4 was at 10 million.
okay, hold on. I just want to see what's the Switch lifetime
Don't
numbers at right
cheat.
now?
Don't
No, I'm not. 141 million as of March 31st. Okay. So
Yeah.
about a month ago. Okay. Out of those Jesus Christ, by the way, 141 million. My
Right?
God. That
That's
number took a second to register for me. Okay.
yeah,
Out of those
yeah.
141, I'm gonna guess, like you said, Japan, but they are more mobile, right? So I don't know. I'm gonna say like 10 million or something.
Way higher.
Way higher. Wow. Okay. Freaking 30 million?
Yeah, 33 million.
Holy
33
crap.
million units for Switch compared
So
to
that
5
says
million, 4
that says it all
million
right there then.
on PS5. That's what I'm
Jesus.
saying. They don't
That's not
like big
and
consoles.
this is why when people say like, oh my god, Nintendo would be so stupid to release another handheld system, I'm like, I
No, they're
don't
not.
know. I don't know if I agree with you on that. I don't know.
Yeah, their
You
numbers
know,
are
so
gigantic. Clearly, they're doing it right.
141 million. My God, that's got to be. I know the PS2 and DS sold the most, but they were both 150 or so, right?
They're about to hit it. the
Jesus.
the the PS2 is number one because the DVD player.
Yeah.
People
Yep.
bought that, it didn't
I know
even
people who
game.
bought it who didn't even
Yeah,
game. Yep.
my mom
And
bought it. My
DS.
mom doesn't play the game in her life outside of maybe Tetris.
Let's
Like,
see. Top selling console. I just want to see the exact numbers. Let's see.
yeah,
So PlayStation 2, a little less than 155 million. Nintendo DS 154.02. Nintendo Switch
Switch
141.
could hit it, dude.
For Switch to get another 14 million, I'm sure it'd be tough, but man, that is
Even when the Switch 2 comes out early next year, let's say that's when it comes out. You still have 2 or 3 years of people buying Switches, even if the new console's out. That still happens for a good another 2 or 3 years before it eventually fades away.
right.
It could hit it. Anyway,
Switch
that's
is
besides
crazy.
the point. But the bigger point we're getting here, 33 million compared to 4 million is a huge difference. Now, obviously, yeah, you had a few more years on Switch, but not to just like
Well,
try to
well, yeah,
justify those number differences.
but PlayStation 5 came out in 2020, and according to I don't know how accurate
2017.
this is.
It's 2017
2017,
was
3 years, right?
Switch. That's only a
So
3-year difference and that big of a
exactly.
number difference.
So
Yeah.
if the PS5 has been out for almost 4 years, let's just say 4 years, right? And they've sold 50 million. Okay, that's
It
an
would make
average of like
sense if it was like
13-ish million a
10,
year, right?
15. Yeah, yeah.
Now the Switch is at 141 over the course of 7 years. That's about 20 million per year. So even if you're going like per year, it's still selling way more.
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. But yeah, Square Enix is Japanese centric. Like I said, they sold all they don't do Hitman anymore. They don't do Tomb Raider anymore. Those are all like other companies at this point. I don't know if they have any Western developers in house anymore. I think they've pretty much ditched them all at this point.
Right.
So why the hell are they releasing exclusives on a on a PS5 when
Oh
they're
boy.
I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't add up there. So and I would say that that's the reason for this loss. I mean, they're releasing. Think of the games they're releasing. They're releasing. Legend of Mana. Like
Right.
those sell in Japan. Like I don't know. All right. Moving on. Actually, I mean that's it for the news. And one other thing with the Square Enix thing too is the release cadence is terrible. They'll drop like 5 games in like a month and expect them all to sell great. It's not gonna happen. They're all like competing with each other, and then you'll go like 2 or 3 months of like nothing, and then here's another drop. It's weird. They definitely can learn to like spread it out better, release better, stop trying to like release so many at once. Yeah, I think it's another huge problem that they have. So there's that.
Interesting. All right.
New game watch, and we'll get out of here. Little Kitty, Big City.
Yes.
I
Been
love
waiting
that
for that
title,
one.
by the way.
Little Kitty Big City. That's awesome.
Anyway, Xbox Series X and S,
That is a
Xbox
great
One,
title.
Switch, and PC, May 9th.
Little Kitty Big City. I love that. Dude, are we gonna get Stray Part 2? Man, I need to be a cat again.
Let me see what this game looks like. God dang it. All right. It doesn't look bad. On Steam. Here you go. Let's see. Is it out? Let's see. Any reviews yet is what I'm more curious. Yeah, like I said, May 9th. It comes out in 2 days. I got 2 friends in my friend list wanting this game. Is it picking up?
Look at that.
Is there like 2 people have it wish list here? What is this picking up Steam or something? The game looks pretty cool actually.
All right, interesting.
Anyway, it doesn't look bad. All right, moving on. Homeworld 3, PC May 13th. I have no idea what that is. Which that's the third one. Biomutant Switch port May 14th. Another like what 6, 7 at best, and it's like move on.
Gotcha.
Balladins. I don't know. Let me see what this is.
Paladins. It's like
PC
paladins.
right? What the hell's Balladins? Balladins on Steam. Let's see. I like the
Hello?
way it looks.
Oh, okay. Cut out the rest of it. Oh, it looks cool. Okay. Let me see. I want to Google it too. Let's see. Paladins.
Like I like I guess the art style of it. I don't
Oh,
know what
that
it's
is
about though.
looks like a paper character kind of
Embark on a
thing.
whimsical journey and bring to a bright fantasy world in this role-playing adventure for 1 to 4 players. Craft your own story and solve quests as you like, but beware, every time you fail, the dragon will send you back in time. So it's like a
Interesting.
co-op experience. And, oh, okay. All right.
Interesting.
Well,
All right.
that will do it. And,
Alrighty. Back to play more Final Fantasy. I am
I
very.
think I'll be done by next week.
I was gonna
Because
say the
I'm
same
gonna
thing.
go
Yeah.
ham into it now. I'm finally just up in it, playing it a lot. I played it a lot yesterday and the day before.
Right.
I keep getting sucked in though, dude. Every time I'm like about to go do something, I'm like, well, there's something over here. Let me just do this real quick. And then 4 hours
Yep.
later, I
Yep.
did like 10 things. And I'm like, oh
Yep.
god,
Same
I
here.
did it again.
Yep. Same here. All
All right.
right.
Oh,
Sounds good.
I mean, if people know the game, there's a bit to what I was talking about in the beginning of the episode where I'm at is uh, with the black materia, you take the temple, and it all sort of forms into this pyramid that kind of goes out of the ground. In
Right.
the original game, like at the time, I thought, "Whoa, this is so cool." Man, the difference now and how cool things look.
Yeah.
This temple looks sick.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I was so blown away at how cool this thing looked. Anyway, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'll
agree.
see you.
All right. Later.